Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about being a millionaire. Who wants to be a millionaire? I'm known as a millionaire coach, and that's what I do. I teach you how to become a millionaire. The problem is when I ask people, what does it mean to be a millionaire? Few people actually give me an easy answer because it's very confusing. You would think I want to be a millionaire. That's pretty straightforward. But there's all different types of millions, and we don't know what type of million people are talking about when they say, I'm a millionaire. The type of millionaire you are actually matters. So I'm going to break down to the three types of millionaire. The first millionaire is in this box, and this box is called your business. So this is your business, and we hear all the time that you want to build your business to be a 7-figure business, and that would be $1 million. So that means you generate $1 million worth of revenue. And that's what they mean when they say a 7-figure business. So I hear on podcasts, I hear on back in the day in Clubhouse, I hear in different circles, like, yeah, I'm a millionaire. I built a 7-figure business. So kinda, meaning you're a millionaire business perhaps, but that just means that the business generated $1 million in revenue. Does that mean you're a millionaire? So you want to know this because many times, like, the be-all end-all is just to build a millionaire business or $1 million business, a 7-figure business, as though that makes you a millionaire. But it doesn't. What if it takes you $900,000 of expenses to create that $1 million? That means there's $100,000 left over, which as a business owner, that's what you would get paid. So this is where, yes, you're $1 million business that earned $1 million classification, a millionaire classification, but you're nowhere close to becoming a millionaire. So that's one. But be careful when people are saying, I'm a millionaire, or they're acting or talking or coaching or teaching like they're one. Make sure that they're just not talking about the fact that they generated 7 figures in their business. Even if they have, and that's very impressive, because as a small business owner, I think less than 10% of all small businesses in the entire country make over $1 million a year. So yeah, to get in that top 10% is a big success story. But when people say, I have $1 million business, you want to ask that follow-up question is, what's your profit? Because what the business owner's profit is what they take home. Are they $1 million business and they only take home $100,000? Or maybe they make 20% and $200,000. But big difference between these two numbers, right? Okay, so that's $1 million business. And a lot of these marketers that I talk to that are like, hey, I'm a 7-figure marketer, this is what they're talking about. Many of them are broke because they're spending $1 million to make $1 million. All right, I think I made that point. So the second place is, let's say, for example, that you actually profited $1 million from your business. So maybe you made $3 million up here. You have a 33% profit margin. You made $1 million from your business take home, $1 million profitability. So the next place we go is what's called your household. And your household means you move this $1 million here that you made in your business and you move it into your household. This year. So say year 2024 paid my household $1 million. My business made $1 million profit, and that means I moved over to my household, and my household made $1 million in 2024. Does that make you a millionaire? Over the year, you put in $1 million, but are you a millionaire? Well, in one case, you're a millionaire for at least maybe a day, or maybe you're a millionaire if you added it all up, just the money that you brought in. But are you really a millionaire? No, you're not. Because just like your business took this $900,000 of expenses in this example, your household has expenses. So if you're making $1 million that you deposit in your household, there's this thing called lifestyle creep and this thing that makes you feel rich. And there is something that's called high income optimism, which is a lot of entrepreneurs think, hey, I put $1 million in my bank account. I'm going to live large. I'm rich. I'm going to have private planes. I'm going to do all the things. And I can just always make more money. So this is a good scenario for me. I'm just going to keep working in my business, profit $1 million, move this $1 million in my household, and my lifestyle is going to cost me $1 million. So yes, I deposited $1 million in my bank account, but then this $1 million went out where? Went out on big fancy houses. It went out on big fancy cars. It went on fancy vacations. It went to, who knows what it went to? Your private plane. So these are all the things, for example, that you put $1 million in your household bank account over the year and you spent every dollar. And that's what I call high income optimism, but it's also the danger of high incomes, because when you have a high income like this, you feel rich, and feeling rich means you spend like you're rich and all of the money in and all of the money out. So what I call this scenario is a high income broke person, which means I make $1 million for my business. I spend $1 million in my lifestyle. I go back to the business and have to crank it out next year, pull it in. And we're just get stuck in this circle forever. And it's like, hey, I can always make $1 million in my business, pay myself, and you have to go do it again. But what happens, because you get stuck in this belief that you're rich, because it feels like you're rich because you get to spend so much money on this really lavish lifestyle, but are you a millionaire? And you're not yet in this scenario. But I call this high income broke because is there any difference that if in this case, in the first case, if we paid ourselves $100,000 and our expenses were $100,000, so at the end of the year there's zero left over, is there any difference between Sally that makes $100,000 and spends $100,000 and Joe that makes $1 million and spends $1 million? At the end of the day, is there any difference? You wind up with zero and you have to go back and do it again. So that's called high income broke versus low income broke. But broke means at the end of the month or end of the year, there's nothing left over. So in this case, made $1 million in the business, but the profitability was less than $1 million. Are you a millionaire? I say no. In this case, we move $1 million to household, but we spend $1 million. Are we a millionaire? I still say no. But that's where it stops. Like the way people think of becoming a millionaire is I need to become a millionaire in my business over here, or I want to be able to spend $1 million per year. Or another example of this is that we get a trust fund. And let's just say Grandma Dolores died, and Grandma Dolores gave us $1 million on one day. So let's just say on April 1, it felt like April Fool's, but it wasn't April Fool's. Grandma Dolores actually dropped $1 million in your bank account on April 1. Are you a millionaire? Well, it depends what we do with that $1 million. We could drop that $1 million in the bank account, and just like this example, how fast do you think you could spend $1 million? I think any of us could probably go out and blow $1 million in a day, in a week, in a month, easily in a year. But that's just it, is we had $1 million for a day. But it's going to matter what we do with this $1 million to determine if we're a millionaire beyond a day, because that's what you want to be. You want to be a millionaire forever, and then turn that millionaire status into a multi-million-dollar status, and so on. So the thing is to become a millionaire is there's this third bucket, and this is called our balance sheet. And there's something here called net worth. So in these two examples, we haven't talked about a balance sheet. We've not even considered net worth. We've just considered $1 million in a bank account and the $1 million being spent. To be a millionaire, the type of millionaire that you want to be, This is called a net worth millionaire, which is different than these two types of millionaires. Now, the net worth millionaire looks like this. In this case, where Grandma Dolores left us $1 million, we could have put it in our household account and just blown it like the entrepreneur who makes $1 million and blows $1 million. Easy to blow the million. But perhaps we listen to this video right here and realize like, oh, I don't want to be a millionaire for a day. I want to be a millionaire for the rest of my life and then some. So what we do in this case, what you would do is be like, I'm not going to spend the $1 million on my household. I'm actually going to change ink colors and I'm going to put this $1 million let's say on my balance sheet. So I'm going to put it in this separate account over here, and let's just call it an investments account. But I'm going to get it out of my household account. I'm going to put it over here and have $1 million cash sitting there. So that's $1 million. And now you're a millionaire. That could be $1 million for a day. But let's just say you keep the $1 million in here in cash and you don't spend it. And it just sits there for the rest of your life. Well, that doesn't do you a lot of good, does it? Because it's just money sitting there that you never use, and we're meant to spend our money. But instead, if we take that $1 million and we invest it in other types of assets, let's just say we bought a piece of real estate, for example, and that real estate then goes in here into this pie chart, and now we own this asset called real estate. And that real estate is going to appreciate in value. If you rent it out, it's going to cash flow because we're talking about a real estate investment. And this asset, this $1 million then, is going to grow over time. That maybe 20 years later, that same asset is worth $2 million. So over our time, we want to keep growing our financial net worth and growing this here. But the goal is, the whole point of this exercise is it's not about $1 million in your business. It's not about $1 million in your household. It's about having $1 million worth of assets or net worth that ultimately will pay you. And when you start building out this net worth, and let's just say that this piece of real estate cash flowed you $50,000 per year, this first piece of real estate, and then another $1 million somewhere in the future over time, get you another $50,000 net cash flow, and you just keep growing this over time, and then you make another $50,000 of cash flow by building out this. Now you're a multimillionaire that's making, in this case, $150,000 passive rental income from this real estate. So this is called a net worth millionaire, and it's the type of millionaire that you want to be. So when you say, I want to be a millionaire, finish this sentence and say, I want to be a net worth millionaire. So what kind of millionaire do you want to be? Put it down in the comment section below. And always, please subscribe, rate, and review. And finally, I have a free gift for you. It's called the Millionaire Formula, How Much is Enough workbook. And this workbook will help you determine what you need to save and invest on an annual basis to become a millionaire in the time frame you want to become a millionaire. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you get to choose. But it's a really great workbook where you just fill in the blanks and answer the questions, and you will know exactly what year you will become a millionaire. This is a really awesome workbook. It's worth the 10 minutes of your time to do the work, and this is the exact work that I do with my private clients, so it's really, really valuable. All right, I'll see you next time.